Hi, this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you a product that I've just got for my birthday. This is the embossing station. I got it at HSN. It was with a 20% coupon, so it was a little cheaper, so I got it for $19. And it's usually $24, $25 plus shipping. So I want to show you what I have. So it's this embossing, if you haven't seen it, it's this embossing station that you put your embossing tool on top. It comes with an adapter, so the Tim Holtz one fits perfectly right there, but you can always use this adapter. And if you have an old embossing tool like this one, which is my Stampin' Up, you can use that and it will hold it right in with that. So you have to bring this out and see, it holds it just perfectly right there. So what it's supposed to do is to help you, so that way when you emboss your project, so you can put a card on here. So let's pretend this is a card. You put your card on here to keep your hands or your fingers away from the embossing powder. So you take your stamp, you stamp something, emboss it, and then you go under here and it embosses it for you, so that way you keep your hands away from the heat. Because sometimes, especially little delicate things, I tend to kind of burn my fingers every once in a while with the embossing tool. So it's nice to have this station that I can go ahead and emboss cards, especially when I'm making a lot of cards. I can emboss it, and I have it right here just set like this on my craft room. So on my table, so I can just easily plug it in and use it. It also has a little pocket here so you can put your embossing buddy, and I always forget to use that. So now I definitely have it there. And you know, and I put my adapter here. This groove is for this paddle. So let me take this out of the way. So this paddle fit nicely in the groove right here. And then when you are doing cards, you can go ahead and put your cards right here as they dry. So I'll put a video link of where they demo this tool, because I'm not going to demo it, but you can stack your cards right on here. And you can emboss a bunch of cards at the same time, especially for Christmas. Stack them here and then emboss them one by one. So you stamp, you put your embossing powder and just put them here as you go. So what I really wanted to show you on this video is you only get one. So it'd be nice to have more than one, so that way I can put them on here. And especially if I'm crafting with friends, I can easily have this running, you know, they can run it and then they can have their projects here and they have their own paddle. So I came up with this paddle, and the reason why I have aluminum is because I have this. This is what I use for my shrink-a-dink. Whenever I'm making little pendants with that shrink plastic, so I don't have to touch it. I usually put a metal wire on top to hold it down. I hold it and then I heat it as it shrinks, and that way I don't have to put my fingers on there because it burns. And this helps transfer the heat better. So I went ahead and used that same principle and created my own paddle. So what I did is I have some cardboard. I used this paddle. I traced it out on cardboard, so you can see here. Then I'm going to use some aluminum and some spray adhesive. I'm going to spray this, put it on to my paddle, and then I went ahead and used the paddle too to just cut regular cardstock. I traced it and cut it out. So let me go ahead and put some spray adhesive on here, and I shall be back and show you how I constructed this. So I went ahead and sprayed everything outside. So I'm going to go ahead and place this on. I use spray adhesive. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some double adhesive tape for this part. I didn't want to spray it because it'll get all sticky. And I just don't want to have it, you know, I just want the edges sticky for now. So I'm just going to put my double adhesive. It's just to hold it in place because we are going to put a backing and another backing. And I'm going to put 2 backings on this because I want it nice and sturdy. And it might give it a little more reinforcement than if I just use, you know, 1 cardstock. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it. So now I'm going to cut the excess off, so make it easy for me to fold the adhesive over, and because I put that double adhesive, it really holds it down. And then you make sure you brayer it so that way it lays very nice and flat. Now I'm using this electric tape. It's a metal tape. You can find this at a hardware store, and I'm just wrapping the edges with it because I think it'll look a lot neater with it, and I think it also provides a little more stability. You can skip this if you don't want to put it on, but I liked it and I had it. And then I make sure that I brayer it each time I lay a piece. Notice that you're going to be noticing that I brayer it. So that way it lays nice and flat. So that's the trick of it, just making sure it's nice and flat. So it's the brayering that's going to make it flat. Now I'm going to put the backing because I don't like that raw edges. So I take another piece of cardstock that I've had put some spray adhesive and I use it as my backing. We have this, and of course our paddle one. So I have 3 paddles. Well, I was going in my garage and I found I had some wood. So I went ahead and traced the paddle from the wood, and I just used a simple craft knife or construction knife to cut it out. And I also used these Fiskars scissors. These are really heavy-duty scissors to cut the corners, and I made this. So, and I also used some tape to put around it because I like the tape. And actually I could have easily just put one of these as well here, but I just put it as a backing. You can use it this way or you can use it that way. So let's go ahead and cut this out. So here's my wood. I traced it out so you can see the pencil lines. Here's my wood, and then I'm going to use a ruler and you're just going to score it down. This is very thin backing wood. This wood was left over from a bookcase project, so that's what I'm using. So I went ahead and speed up the video, but you just cut it out. You can have your husband cut it out. The trick for me was to have a really thin wood. This is a backing wood and it cuts pretty good with my Fisker scissors and with this craft knife. So I'm done with cutting this. So it has spray adhesive. So I'm gonna smooth out my so I went ahead and smoothed out my aluminum, and then I'll trim it. And I'll put some, let me go ahead and spray some adhesive on the side here. Actually, so for my wood paddle, I went ahead and put another piece of cardstock. And then I went ahead and put double adhesive on that cardstock. Now that cardstock already has been sprayed with spray adhesive. And then I went ahead and wrapped the aluminum around it. Now I am going to use the same aluminum sheet or metal sheet that you find in the hardware store to wrap that around and to cover the edges to make it a lot more sturdier, the edges, and I feel it gives it more stability. And then of course, you see me using my brayer just to making sure that it's nice and flat. And that's what I'm doing there. It's making sure that it's nice and flat. And then in a second, I'm going to go ahead and get another second piece of cardstock to hide these rough edges, because I want the backing to be looking a lot neater than what it looks right now. And that also has bubble adhesive. And now there's my paddle. I mean, it's not as pretty as the one that it comes with, but it functions the same, so I believe it's going to work quite well. And it's pretty economical. I made it with things around the house, so if you have some extra spare wood that like I had, it'll be perfect. If you don't have wood, you can use just regular cardboard to do the same thing, and it's nice and sturdy. It's really hard because when you put the backing of this, there's 2 layers of this backing, and it makes it very sturdy. So the other thing I was gonna do is, I want to try something out. I got some magnets. I'm gonna try to see. Oh, look at that. So I can even use magnets, and that way I can go ahead and put something here, especially a small little piece. I can use that magnet and just hold it in place and don't even have to use the clip, because the clip goes up to there. So if you have a little piece of something that you want to emboss, if you use magnets, it will work very well. And you can even use smaller magnet like this one. Let me see. I can even use smaller magnets to hold the items in place. So I do like that. I think I'm going to keep 2 magnets here. I have a lot of magnets on. Oop. See, you can even use magnets to hold your pieces in place. So I like this. It came out pretty nice. So I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.